Some of the New York Knicks draft plans may have just been revealed, as there's been a lot of news today about different guys who the Knicks are working out and potential ideas that the Knicks could maybe trade their draft picks, and we're going to go into all this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do. So let's just do that right ahead. As it was reported today by Jonathan Giovanni, it's expected that the Knicks are going to look into trade scenarios involving their 24th and 25th picks in this year's NBA draft. And I've said this time and time again, it's going to be no surprise when the Knicks trade at least one of the 24th or the 25th pick. We know the way Leon Rose and co operate. They don't draft very often. And if they do, they're drafting guys who are NBA ready, who could play small rotational parts, or maybe just take a year, learn the system, be in and out of the rotation like Deuce McBride, like Quentin Grimes, and then start producing next year. I mean, for the most part, they're picking 24th or 25th anyway, unless they want to use those picks to trade up for like a pick 15, pick 16, something like that. They're most likely just going to trade one of those and then pick someone who they believe could turn into a solid role player for them for the foreseeable future. But there's also the idea that maybe they just trade both of them, as the Knicks, as Giovanni did also mention, there's a good chance the Knicks are doing this just to continue trying to contend. They believe they have something with Jalen Brunson, with the Nova Knicks, with Julius Randle being an All-NBA player, with Isaiah Hartenstein if he returns, with OG Anunoby when he returns, with Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks think they have the core of a championship team. They just think they need an extra piece or two. Now, they could trade those 24th and 25th picks and a ton of other draft picks in order to land a star. Now, the one thing is, now that Dallas is in the NBA Finals, that pick could go to 30th if Dallas wins the NBA Championship. I believe it will transfer to the 30th overall pick. If I'm wrong, you can make fun of me in the comments. Go ahead. But I probably should have looked that up before I started this. But we're 2 minutes in. We're not stopping now. Look, I want the Knicks to draft someone. And there's a few different options. And they've worked out two guys right now. The first guy being Joseph Gerard, a guard from Clemson. He's an all-time leading scorer in a New York boys high school as with Glens Falls. He had 402 three-pointers in between Syracuse and Clemson, and is third in ACC men's history, only behind J.J. Redick and Curtis Staples. And his offensive rating is 124.1, which ranked 9th, and in the NBA, that should translate. Something with shooters is they usually take a moment, miss a bunch of shots, and then start figuring it out from three. I mean, we saw that with a couple guys in the NBA, but shooting usually translates. If Gerard can continue to hit threes, he'll end up finding a role in the NBA as long as he has enough athleticism to be able to get open, and he does. Of what we've seen from Joseph Gerard, is he going to really be able to create his own shot at the NBA level? I don't know. It's kind of dicey, but he'll definitely be able to hit threes at an NBA level. He's not afraid to shoot the ball from a few feet from beyond the arc anyway, so I think he'll fit well with the Knicks if they want to add another shooter. Now, he's not a forward, so there is that. It's going to be a smaller lineup once again if the Knicks want to do that and have him as their ninth man. But I think anyway, they're going to pick once at 24th or 25th, and then trade the other one. That's, I guarantee, is what is going to happen. I think they'll also pick at 38th also. Just get two rookie contracts on the books. And there's another guy who I kind of like that they're working out, who they could target at 38th overall, which is, get ready for me to botch it, Melivi Lyons. He's a native of the Netherlands. He's 24 years old. He's won the last two Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player of the Year awards. He found an offensive spark over 3 years with the Braves. I guess that is with Bradley University. I don't really know much about them. And he averaged 12 points per game playing 3 seasons of Division III basketball. Now, he came up from Division II, or Division I basketball, it said there. I just can't read, guys. From Division I basketball, he came up, and I mean, he did his thing. Look, he's 24 years old. He's been playing college basketball for the last 5 years. He's an excellent defender. He's big. He's strong. He's kind of a tweener between that 4 and 5 position, though he's more of a 4. He's a great on-ball defender. He's strong. He's got that man strength. He just seems like someone the Knicks would take 38th overall. Someone who's ready to contribute day one. Someone who Tibbs could throw in there. And also, he seems like a pretty excellent replacement for Precious Achiuwa. And there's a good chance that Precious commands enough money where the Knicks are just not going to be able to re-sign him. They already are going to be near the luxury tax or over the luxury tax if they pay Hartenstein, if they pay Anunoby. They're going to either be near the luxury tax or over it. They'll be knocking down that first apron door. So there's definitely a lot of reasons to believe that maybe they don't re-sign Precious and they use Leonce to just kind of bridge that gap of a guy who kind of floats in and out of the rotation, can play the 5 as a bit of an undersized 5, but he's aggressive, can play that 4 slot well. Now, I don't think his scoring is really going to translate to the NBA, but the defense will. He's strong. He uses his body. I've looked up a bit of tape on each of these guys. Clearly, I'm not an expert on either of them, but also, there's other guys to keep in mind. For instance, Kel'el Ware. When we did the live stream yesterday, when I went on live for like nearly 2 hours yesterday, and that's going to be 2 days ago by the time this video comes out, I talked about Kel'el Ware a lot because there was a lot of comments about him. He is a CAA guy. He could play the 4, he could play the 5. He can hit threes, he could block shots. He seems like someone who could translate to the NBA. The Knicks are certainly going to work him out. I think they're probably going to draft him 24th or 25th overall, like if I had to guess. Now, there's also Ryan Dunn, another CAA client who's a little bit older. His shot is a little broken, and, well, it's straight up broken. He's got a broken jump shot. But, again, it's a great defender. And we know how Tibbs feels with that. The bench still needs shooting, though. Like, when you look at the Knicks bench, and if you're like, all right, let's draft a guy as some sort of a 9th man, I think you go Joseph Gerard from Clemson. Look, 402 threes in college. That's pretty damn good, dude. So, think about it, because they're only playing like 30 games per year in college, like, for an entire season. So, when you look at things, it's like, okay, we can have a great shooter in Joseph Gerard. He could take over. We could just still play Josh Hart at the 4. And then, look, we have great shooting off the bench. Between Deuce being a 40% shooter, Josh Hart will maybe remember how to shoot throughout the regular season, unlike this year when he was just wet in the playoffs and a brick in the regular season. Who knows how that'll work? But if Josh Hart can also hit his threes, and then you get Gerard, you got a squad there. You got options. Now, again, if they want to go bigger, if they want to replace Precious, I think you can get Leonce at 38 overall. I don't know how many teams are going to target him. He seems like a Knicks player, like hard worker, tweener, great defender. He's basically just the cheaper option. He's the cheaper version of Precious Achiuwa. That's exactly what he is. But yeah, I honestly think they will select at least one guy in the draft. I think they're not going to trade both the 24th and the 25th pick unless there's someone they like who they know is going to go higher, and then they'll draft someone higher. But again, as Jonathan Giovanni did mention, the Knicks are looking at this not to get a higher pick. They're looking at this so they can continue being a contender. They want to use these picks as trade bait. They want to use all their picks as trade bait so they can trade for some sort of a player to add to this Knicks team. I still want it to be Mikal Bridges. I think he's the perfect fit. But we don't know who is going to become available once this NBA season ends. Someone always asks out. We're going to see who it is. And it's certainly going to have an effect on whether the Knicks draft and who they draft. So you guys need to stay updated with that. So subscribe to Knicks Digest, man. Hammering out this video real quick, then signing off for the weekend. Guys, make sure you're subscribed. Have a great day, and go Knicks.